debate and advance good ideas no matter where they come from. And in that spirit, Democrats will be offering the Senate Republican appropriations legislation to reopen government later today. Too many families who wonder in this time of innovation and globalization we will make our community safer and keep our sacred promise.
In New York, a $2.1 billion stimulus fund has also been established to benefit workers who were excluded from getting federal aid for the past 2 years. In order to receive more stimulus relief money, eligible residents must have had an annual income of less than $26,000 in 2020. So now everybody, a huge raise is coming soon for millions of Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA beneficiaries. The president has just announced his new legislation, and this will greatly affect senior citizens and Social Security recipients across the nation. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives and also the Senate want to move the bill forward as quickly as possible, everybody. So continue watching this video to learn the most up-to-date, reliable, and trustworthy stimulus check and Social Security news. Remember folks, the whole goal of this channel is to provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. I want to be sure that everybody receives the most up-to-date stimulus check news because many things are happening in Congress. Now, for years, seniors on Social Security have been forced to grapple with low cost of living adjustments or COLAs. And these COLAs have caused beneficiaries to lose buying power. So folks, this year Social Security recipients finally got the larger COLA boost that they've been waiting for. And this is a 5.9% boost that took effect at the start of 2020. And now beneficiaries of Social Security could see another big change very soon to their monthly benefits. Listen to this folks because it starts to get very interesting. President Biden recently revealed a proposed budget for 2023. And that includes $14.8 billion for Social Security. That is roughly a 14% increase from funding levels allocated in 2021. Economists have even said that the increase can help improve the program's services for millions of Americans. Biden's proposal would also include a $224 million increase that would go toward ensuring Social Security and Medicare provide the right benefits to those who qualify, and that funds are spent responsibly. Some of the extra money would actually go toward supporting the investigation of fraud, based on recent inflation data. The Senior Citizens League is estimating that seniors on Social Security could be in line for a 7.6% COLA increase in 2023, and this would mean a larger monthly benefit increase. However, everybody, that increase to monthly checks will not be enough. According to the Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan advocacy group, the letter sent to members of both the House of Representatives and the Senate said the group is ramping up its calls for new $1,400 checks to be sent at once to Social Security beneficiaries. The letter stated, "We believe that a special stimulus for Social Security recipients could help defray the higher cost that some would face if next year's COLA bumps them into a higher tax bracket, causing higher tax rates on their income and surcharges to their Medicare Part B premiums." Also folks, listen to this. There are only a few more weeks left. They'd love to file your tax return or request an extension. The tax deadline is April 18th, but if you have already filed your tax return and are expecting a refund, it is arrive in about 21 days. And if you use direct deposit and filed electronically, I know some of you have also said that it has been 3 weeks since you filed and you still haven't received a refund. Well, the IRS, everybody, has announced this. It is said that there are some tax refunds that may take a little longer. The agency has cited a number of common factors that can cause your tax refund to be delayed. First, the IRS is cautioning taxpayers not to rely on receiving a refund by a certain date, especially when making major changes or purchases and even paying bills. You should also be aware, everybody, that it can take the bank several days to process the deposit before it hits your bank account. Now, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have found some big ways to get Joe Manchin on board with the fourth stimulus check being sent out. As I said in my previous videos, lawmakers have now agreed to pass President Biden's legislative agenda. It is something they want to get done, and it's finally good. I'm really happy to see that President Biden is stepping up to the plate and sending out more stimulus payments. It's what everyone's been waiting for. Now, there are a lot of developments on the next spending bill, everybody. Senate Democrats have announced their proposals to raise the cap on state and local tax deductions, and it has been a top of the priority list for Chuck Schumer. Now it's likely to be cut from the revised Build Back Better Act. The Senate Democrats that were involved in negotiations over the bill before Joe Manchin paused negotiations last month to say that there is simply not enough room for the expensive tax change, which Republicans argue would benefit wealthy suburban households in blue states. Now this is a big change in the bill that would affect many Americans across the country. A Democratic senator that is familiar with negotiations on the tax provisions of the bill said that Joe Manchin has signaled that his colleagues and many people in Congress are not a fan of changing the tax break. But this is a disappointing change for Chuck Schumer, who is up for re-election this year and pledged back in 2020 to make repeal of the cap on salt, which is known as the state and local tax deductions. That's a top priority if Democrats won control of the Senate. Now, pulling the salt deductions fixed out of legislation also will make it tougher for the bill to pass through the House of Representatives. Where last week, 3 Democrats from New York and New Jersey insisted that they won't support any bill that does not raise the $10,000 cap. But opponents of lifting the salt cap were quick to note that the number of House Democrats threatening to take the bill over the issue is dwindling, as the realization sinks in their party that they may not be able to pass any version of the bill. Critics have said that raising a cap on salt deductions runs counter to what they say is the main political reason for passing legislation in the first place. Now, for those of you that have been anxiously waiting for the next round of stimulus payments to be sent out, well, the government just said this. The U.S. government has already sent a large amount of money out to Americans since the start of the crisis. Joe Biden said last week that Congress would still be able to pass parts of the social and climate policies that are proposed in the package. One key reason the bill has hit a roadblock is the opposition from Senator Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, who is split with his party on many of the key proposals in the package. Democrats are hoping to pass the bill through reconciliation, which would require all Democrats in the Senate to support it. It is definitely important that Congress sends out more relief soon, as the cost of living increases across the country. According to the latest government data, inflation is now at historic highs, and after accelerating at the fastest 12-month pace in over 40 years. Right now, the Democratic Party is tasked with identifying exactly which proposals could stay in a whittled-down version of the bill. Joe Biden actually said there's really 2 big components that I feel strongly about, and I'm sure we can get this done. What do you think about Chuck Schumer, the Democrats, and the Republicans, and pretty much everybody in Congress, folks? Tell me in the comments below, do you believe that everybody's doing all that it takes to send out the stimulus payments, or do you think that somebody's responsible for holding them back?
There are over 200, as you all know, 200 different types of cancer caused by different genetic mutations in our cells. We discover new medicines, therapies, early detection, prevention, measures that extend lives and save lives. In the first 25 years since the National Cancer Act, the death rate from cancer was largely unchanged. Then things began to change. The progress over the last 25 years, the death rate has fallen by more than 25%. But here's the deal. Despite the progress of lives extended and lives saved, cancer is still the number 2 cause of death in America, second only to heart disease. In the last 2 years of COVID-19 pandemic, the pandemic has taken more than 800,000 American lives.